Today we have Claude with us. He is a tenant in the Icehouse co-working space, which is based in Parnell in Auckland. And we are sitting in that co-working space, about to have a conversation about Claude's business journey and his experience in the co-working space. So Claude, welcome to the podcast. It's so nice to have you here.
Hi, thank you.
No worries.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to it. And we like to start these conversations with some quick fire questions to get to know you a little bit better and just to start things off with a bang. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. What's your coffee order?
I'm a macchiato guy.
Oh, yeah. Very French. Nice. What gets you up in the morning?
Right now what gets me up, it's my daughter.
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that.
I have a newborn at home. Apart from that, doing what I love, helping people and having the feeling that I'm useful.
So cool, I love the answer, and congrats on your new addition, Victoria.
Victoria, yes.
She's gorgeous, so congrats on that one. First overseas trip on the list.
We'll go to France in a few weeks. This is where my family come from. Really looking forward to it. It's been 3 years that we wanted to do this. So exciting.
Very exciting. Have a great time.
Yeah.
What are you reading or listening to right now?
I'm reading Atomic Habits from James Clear. And it's a great book because, as an entrepreneur, one of the most important things is to make the best use of a precious resource, which is time. And in this book, it explains how tiny behavior change can have compound effect and have a massive impact in your life. And I strongly believe in that. So that's a great book. I read this book every year, and I recommend it.
I'm reading it at the moment. I'm halfway through.
Really?
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
The just consistency and the power of consistency, right? So you read it every year. Have you read it before?
It's the second time I read it. So
wow, good on you.
It's good to have a reminder, refresh.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Nice. When are you most relaxed?
Most relaxed? Most of the time is when I'm surrounded with people that I love, my friends, my family. That's where I feel that I can recharge my batteries to then perform at my best level the rest of the week.
Great answer. That's so cool. First ever job?
First ever job. Wow, I did a lot of student jobs.
Yeah.
Wow, all sorts of things, like flyer distributions in the streets of Paris, pizza deliveries, One of my best student job was working at the Château de Versailles.
Oh, wow.
The castle in Versailles.
Yeah.
And guiding tourists over there.
Cool.
Which is a great place to actually to work. And that's how I started to feel that listening to customers and helping customers was very rewarding. So that's one of the jobs that I used to do as a
Great answer.
Yeah.
And following from that, who is Claude? Why don't you tell us a bit about your passions, your interests, and what you do?
So, Claude is a French guy, passionate about technology, innovation, and ventures in general. So I'm also a marathon runner.
That's right.
More recently. And I founded SapienX to build technology and help companies putting together the analytic solutions and AI solutions.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm also a startup advisor. So I work with the startup On You, who's based in Christchurch. They're at a very early stage.
Wow.
So I help them in their technology journey. And I recently started investing as well.
Wow.
Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Cool.
So yeah, lots of things, but always around the technology, venture, and innovation space.
Cool.
And I do my best at my level.
So
I can contribute.
That's great. I love that. What has your career journey looked like? And tell us more about your business, SapienX, and what you guys do day to day, what it looks like day to day. Yeah.
Career journey, yes. So, I always worked on innovative projects, almost by accident. Day one of my career was working on a classified project for the French government.
Wow.
So it's a head start,
Yeah. Just throw you in the deep end.
Day one was a bit overwhelming. What's going on?
Did you do any study before that, or
Sorry?
Did you do any study before that, or?
Yes. I have a master's degree in computer science.
Oh wow! Awesome.
In Paris. Because as you can hear with my accent, I come from France.
Yes.
So always work in this type of space. I started as a software engineer, and worked my way up to a head of engineering. But I always work, on those massive program projects, very corporate environment.
Yeah.
And I needed something new at some point in my career. So that's when I first arrived in New Zealand, and I've started to work more in the startup ecosystem, and using this background and this knowledge to work with startup businesses.
Great answer.
And I realized that at some point I could help a lot more companies, so that's where I've founded and started SapienX. I actually founded SapienX in the middle of the pandemic. And
like every great startup story now.
Yeah. And most people tell me that, what are you doing?
You're
like,
crazy.
What's wrong with you? I'm used to that,
Yeah.
But they told me, you should wait and see. And but I was like, as an entrepreneur, my job is to turn challenges into opportunities.
Awesome.
And that's a kind of growth mindset. And in any change, any kind of chaos, somehow, there is a transformation happening. And that's where solutions like the one that I bring onto the market can be useful in these particular times, where people want to understand better their customer, want to make sure they stay, and want to have analytic solution to achieve that.
Do you work with clients internationally, or are they majority based in New Zealand or France?
Majority based in New Zealand.
Cool.
Because there is a disconnect between what companies need and what actually the job market can offer. So there is a talent shortage here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And that's where, I believe that one of my goals is to be useful. So that's why there is a need here in New Zealand, and it's great also to work with people surrounding you and being part of an ecosystem. I also strongly believe in that.
Yeah, that's great. That's really cool. Did you move to New Zealand? Why did you move to New Zealand?
Oh, for a lot of reasons. One, my entire life I was passionate about, the Pacific part of the world. Always curious about that. From France, it's like, wow, the Pacific, you go to New Zealand, it's extraordinary to do that,
Yeah.
Always curious about that. My partner is also works in the energy sector, and we need to know that in New Zealand there is the zero carbon bill, zero gas emission by 2050. So there are a lot of projects also in this ecosystem. So for both of us, it was good to it was a bet, I tried to rationalize my decision, but I think it was a gut feeling.
Cool.
And sometimes, again, in life, you need to try.
Yeah.
You never know otherwise. And
Totally.
at first, we were supposed to stay at least 1 year and then decide. But after 6 months, we were like, oh, wow, okay, we're going to stay here.
Cool. That's awesome.
New Zealand treats us well.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are happy also to give back because I believe it's important to.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing, Claude. I love that answer. That's great. What is one thing you wish you'd known when you began your business?
I wish I knew. Making sure that what you do has an actual impact and is actually useful. When I say that is that sometimes you can come up with great ideas, think that that you have a great concept in mind that you want to implement, etc. But it often happens that you are not really helping anyone, or at least it's not that clear that it's going to be useful for anyone. So one of the things that it's important to come up with ideas, but it's always important also to have a discussion with whoever will benefit this idea. And it's always great to do that actually, because you have great conversations and that's where you can have new ideas coming up, and that could make the thing more useful. So always thinking about who you want to help, even if you think you have the best idea in the world. That's very important.
It's such a good point, and also building from that, like talking to people along the journey, not just trying to craft this perfect product or service and then going, oh, I've done months of work on this, what do you think? And then they go, oh, I don't need that bit of it, or that isn't helpful, and you're like, oh, if only I asked you this in week 2 rather than month 5 or 6 or 18, you know what I mean? So I think people can fall into the trap of holding it too tightly, too close to their chest. Then when they tell everyone about it, it's like, oh no, that's not quite what we need. And then you find yourself back at the drawing board. So I like that idea of having conversations more frequently and just asking, is this what you need? Is this, helpful and of value to you? So gold, great answer there. So
that's important. Another thing will be work-life balance. That's something, especially when you start a new venture, a new project, or a new position. Something new where you need to perform. Sometimes you can tend to focus a lot on this because you're passionate about that, because you want to make it work. But it works only on the short term. And if you really want to have a sustainable career, I understand that, work-life balance is very important. And it's also another advice I'd give.
This is just a personal interest. What do you think, France or New Zealand is better at work-life balance?
Oh, that's an interesting question. But I believe that here in New Zealand you have more faith in your work-life balance. That's what I believe. But there are also more opportunities to do outdoor activities, to do something else. I compare with Paris. Paris is very intense, very and I believe that in New Zealand you have more this culture of work-life balance.
Totally.
That's something that I really respect, and I've learned a lot from it.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear. I'm sure Paris is very different to other places in France. But,
true.
But comparing them is just an interesting thought that I chuck in there. Cool. What's been a highlight in your business journey so far?
Highlight, I'd say the first mega project that we've delivered. Because it was really the result of a lot of... It was, the manifestation of a lot of things that I had in mind. And that's something that makes me really proud that starting from nothing we are able to deliver something impactful and useful. And we really started from scratch with this client. And for the story, this client is an in-power company. Their core business is to measure energy consumption in all sorts of buildings throughout New Zealand, more than 1,000 sites, including Auckland Council, ASB Bank, Air New Zealand, buildings, airport, etc. And they were sitting on terabytes of data, and we're just generating a monthly report, at the end of the month saying, oh, you spent too much on energy this month. I hope you'll do better next month. And that's it,
You're like, no.
So we really started from scratch with them. And we started to come up with this concept of using data in real time. As we have new data coming in, being able to detect any energy waste in any building in real time. And notifying people on site that you have an incident, you have an issue, so they can take action. So it's actually actionable.
Yeah.
It's not just a monthly report that you read.
Oh wow. Try better next time, but they can actually try better in the moment. Yeah. That's really cool.
It actually completely changed the way this team worked. It completely flipped things around. And now you have clients asking for more and more and more things because they start having this. They start to understand that it's actually actionable and I actually have control on events. And with this technology, I can make things better instead of being sitting on my chair and reading a report at the end of the month.
Exactly.
It's more engaging as well.
Yeah, totally. Quite cool that you can sort of live through the clients that you're working with too, and actually get your head into their businesses and their organisations and what impact they have, and support them to have more impact essentially.
Yeah.
Do you have a team?
So I've started as a consultancy, so it was a more one-man band. And whenever there's a big project coming up, I put together a team. So I have people that I know, and work as a contractor with them. And hopefully I'll be able to hire my first employee this year.
Exciting.
Fingers crossed.
Exciting.
Which will be a big milestone.
Big milestone.
Yeah,
that's exciting to hear. I like that. Cool. On the flip side, what's been a challenge in business, and what did you learn from it?
A challenge in business. Because I can work, the project that I work on often need, a budget approval. Sometimes from the board, sometimes from. I also work with companies with Callahan Innovation, where they give grant to projects. So you need to pitch that. You need to sell your project internally or to whoever wants to invest in this project. So I help those companies to achieve that with the technical support. And sometimes when we build a new solution that will actually have an impact on the organization, you have different stakeholders within the organization, and they all want something different, and they all have a different perception on what it will be. So sometimes it can be actually challenging to meet everybody's needs. So one of the first mistakes was to try to meet the needs of everybody within the company. And I rapidly realized that one, it was impossible. So I was losing my time trying to do that. And two, you really need to focus on the business needs. So for example, with the solution that I mentioned, you had analysts that are very data literate. They want to see all the details of any event, any building, etc., to analyze everything in great details. And you had the executive team, leadership team that told me, oh no, I don't want that much detail. I want my staff to spend as less time as possible using this solution, and so they can focus on something else. And they had completely opposite needs.
Totally.
And you're in the middle of this conversation, and you're like, oh, okay, all right. But the most important is to focus on what is the strategic direction for the organization, and to work with the leadership team, the executive. That was a big lesson, and it saved me a lot of time.
Yeah, awesome. Good, you could learn it fairly quickly. Sounds.
Clearly,
That's cool. That's a great answer. What is a myth about your industry that you'd like to debunk?
Oh my god.
Analytics and AI and all that sort of stuff.
I feel that I spend half of my day debunking.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when so first of all, when I say AI, I work in the AI space. I build AI solution. I have two types of reactions. One, you have people who are like, oh my god, what are you doing? AI will replace us in a few years.
They start fearing for their jobs and their life.
So I have the fear reaction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have the very, wow, it's amazing, very enthusiastic reaction and very engaging reaction. So I spend my time saying, don't watch too much Hollywood movies.
Yes.
I know Arnold Schwarzenegger was great in Terminator.
Yeah.
Don't believe Terminator, don't believe Skynet and all of those things. That's Hollywood movies. And there are two types of AI, that what we call the general AI and the specialized AI. And the specialized, and the only thing we've been able to achieve so far is specialized AI. So having a machine that is very good at doing a very specific task, very narrow.
Yeah.
For example, processing millions of accounting transaction within a minute. That's very specialized AI. And general AI is actually an intelligent machine that understands and that behaves as a human.
Yes.
We are clearly not at this stage.
Yeah.
And for now, we have very good machines that are able to process, accounting data or whatever, but it's not nothing intelligent.
It's not a human. Yeah. It doesn't replace the human quite.
Yeah.
But it does have value for businesses. It's incredible.
Yeah, for businesses and also for public good. That's also something that I try to. I'm a huge advocate for. AI for public good. For example, you can have AI systems that help to forecast floods in different areas and actually contribute to help or save people, maybe.
Yeah.
This project on energy waste, the AI machine was able to detect energy waste and prevent carbon emission from happening. I also saw examples of AI system that detect kiwi birds sounds automatically, and so it helps researchers to understand how many kiwi birds there are in a specific area automatically without having hundreds of people in the bush, hiding in the bush at night,
waiting to see something. Wow, that's mind blowing.
Or AI to detect skin cancer. Like you take a photograph of your skin and the machine will tell you if it looks like skin cancer or you have also great positive application, and it's not about destroying the world, taking over humans.
Totally.
So a lot of myths,
How have you kept on the pulse of AI? It's such a rapidly developing thing. How did you first go, this interests me, and then continue to keep updated with where it's at?
I mean, to me it's fairly straightforward because I'm part of different community groups. I think that's the best way to
stay
keep
in the
up
loop.
with the state of the art. For example, I'm part of the AI forum.
Cool.
Also part of the industry advisory group, the University of Auckland on the data science and AI space. So being part of those communities and working groups, to me is the best way.
Yeah, that's a great practical thing because you can bounce ideas off each
Exactly.
other. You can say, have you seen this article? Or have you seen this video? Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So being part of that, it's great. And you meet people.
Yeah,
So
true.
that's great.
True. And because you've got aligned interests, you're meeting people that into the same things as you, right? So probably become good friends and good connections to have along the journey.
Yeah. And sometimes you have opportunities for them, they have opportunities for you, and you keep up with the state of the art.
The beauty of community. It's good. How did you hear about the Icehouse and another community, the co-working space that we have here in Parnell?
So the Icehouse, when I first arrived in New Zealand, that's the first place I worked from.
Wow.
Because I worked for a startup that was based at the Icehouse.
Right.
Which was the exhibit.
Yep.
So coming from the corporate world, to me it was a massive, massive change. Working at the Icehouse was a shock.
Just a lot more casual.
But this is what I really wanted to experience exactly. Because here you meet people from different backgrounds and working on different sort of projects. And there's a great diversity of people and
that's so cool. I love that. Why have you continued, so now that you've got your own business, why have you continued to choose to work from a co-working space and how does it work for you?
So as most founder or entrepreneur, I've started working in my garage.
Yeah, I love that. Classic old story.
At the beginning, and and I rapidly realized that it's way better to work to be part of a work environment. Just to separate out your personal life from your work life, and having this routine of going to the office. And because I already experienced working from the Icehouse, to me it makes sense to come back because I really enjoyed it. To come back and to start my new venture from the Icehouse.
Cool.
To close the loop.
To close the loop. That's awesome. I love that. How has co-working benefited you in your business journey? Anything specific there?
I have many examples. Again, people. Sometimes you go to the coffee machine, you chat, you meet someone, you chat with this person, and you realize that we're part of the same industry, or we have the same client, or I know this guy who, and it's always the tech ecosystem in Auckland is. Allows us to actually come across people, the same people multiple times. So it was beneficial to meet with those people. But we often think that what is beneficial for us, but I also believe that it's good to have opportunities, but it's also good to give opportunities to others, to be an opportunity for other people. That's what I believe, what a community should look like, what a network should look like. It's two directions. So for example, the Icehouse really helped me because I was lucky enough to be in touch with one of the MPs at the Parliament, Judith Collins.
That's right,
And so I recently organized a round table between her, startup founders and VC fund managers, including Icehouse Venture.
Yes, that's awesome.
And the entire staff at the Icehouse really supported this event and helped me to organize everything and the logistic and arranging connections with the startup founders, etc.
Great.
So it's clearly more than just hiring a desk.
Yeah, for sure. But I love that point that you know, give and take in a really healthy way. Like, community has to be double-sided, and you've got to be able to actively participate in a community. You've got to be willing to give and to take and at the right time.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
And it doesn't need to be something extraordinary. Like, for example, this event was great for both parties.
Yeah.
But for example, last time I had too much feijoas at home. I have a feijoa tree at home.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna share that with people at the coworking space.
Awesome.
And it become just an opportunity for others to eat more feijoas. So it doesn't need to be something
this
crazy.
big high tea.
Can be anything. So
No, it's a great
just keep
point.
things healthy and good.
I really love that. That's so cool. Favorite feature within the space?
There are a lot of things. I think the coffee machine.
I was about to say, apart from the coffee machine. No, that's a good one.
But otherwise, there's an actually nice booking system to book rooms.
Yes. Yeah.
So it works.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
It actually works.
it actually works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm a bit late. From home I can log in. Book a room, arrive at the Icehouse, the room is booked, and I take my call, etc.
Perfect.
It's very convenient.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of systems.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Make life
But
easier.
coffee machine's definitely on top, eh?
Yeah.
One thing you wish the space had?
I'd say maybe more community events, I'd say. But we all know, obviously, that's something that used to be...
Definitely,
We used to do a lot more community events pre-COVID.
Yes.
But obviously COVID had a huge impact on that.
Totally.
So hopefully with the new traffic light system and the new back to the office policy, we'll hopefully get back to it.
That's for sure.
Something I really enjoyed doing with the community.
Totally, I miss those events too. The good food, good connection with people. Yeah, I completely agree. So I'm sure the team are working on how to bring those back, bring the life back there.
Yeah, really.
I'd just love to hear what the future looks like for you and for your business, and what excites you the most about it.
One of the big things I'd like to do is to organize AI conference.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be one of the big, significant things I'd like to do. Because again, giving back to the community and being part of, creating interaction and synergy and sharing stories, insights about the domain, something that I love doing. And as I said earlier, having my first hire would be a significant achievement.
Exciting.
And finding, keeping contributing to the venture innovation ecosystem, and also the startup ecosystem.
Cool.
I really like.
Awesome. The future looks bright. It looks exciting. And we just love having you in the space, Claude. It's just so cool having your energy. But I think you explained it so well in this podcast that you're really passionate about being part of a community that you can get from, but also give to, and that is gold. Because if everyone could live life like that, the world would be just that little bit better. So thank you for what you contribute to the Icehouse co-working space and for your time sharing your story. It was really cool to get to know you more.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for being part of this community too. I really enjoyed that.